Dogworks Radio is sponsored by Alaska Dogworks. Check out their website at alaskadogworks.com. You can support this podcast on patreon.com/firstpawmedia.
This episode of the podcast is brought to you by First Paw Coffee Company, specializing in private label premium blend coffee. If you're serious about coffee, you should check it out. First Paw Coffee's passion is high-quality, small-batch roasted coffee. They take the extra time to taste and get everything perfect before they release new blends. They aim to bring you a cup of happiness each time you pour yourself some coffee. Find out more at ak.dog/free and enter for a chance to win some First Paw Coffee prizes, a book from our collection, and tote bag. One winner will be selected at random each month. That's ak.dog/free.
From First Paw Media, sponsored by First Paw Coffee Company, this is the Dog Driver Show. Visit our website at dogworksradio.com. Now here are your hosts, Robert Forto and Kourosh Partow.
Hello and welcome everybody. This is Robert and I'm here with my co-host KP and we are the Dog Driver Show, and today we have a guest calling in from Ontario, Canada. KP, who do we have?
Today we have someone special, actually, that I know their family for a while. We stayed together for a while, actually, during the World Championship and some of the bigger races in Fairbanks when I lived in the lower 48. We have Pam Richards from Canada with us. She's been involved in the sled dog sport for a while, limited class, a beautiful dog team they have. And they have a big pool of energy behind them between husband and wife, and it's going to be fun chatting with them. Pam, welcome to the show, and tell us a little bit about how you got started in the sled dog sport and what are you guys all about?
Oh, how we got started?
Yes.
Well, we were both, so Ron and I, we were both former athletes. He competed, of course, he competed in ski jumping, and he did 3 Olympics. And then I was involved in the sport of figure skating and did national championships and did university games and a couple of other international figure skating competitions. And that's actually where we met, coming back from competitions. So when Ron finished, because he's so used to like a daredevil sport, he wanted to do something else, and I always wanted to dog sled for some reason. I just wanted to dog sled. I went up to watch the Minden race, and I said, I want to do this. So we decided that we were going to see if we could start this, and our neighbor, which was a concession up, had some dogs, and he was doing mid-distance, but he had some Saunderson, and he had a Terry Killam, and these 4 dogs, and he gave us these dogs to start sport of dog sledding, and so it kind of, like, Ron found it exciting, and I find it very exciting. So it was perfect to transfer in from one sport to another exciting sport, but the animals brought a different element.
When was that, Pam, when you started to do that?
Well, Ron finished dog sled. He finished in 91, and then around 96 we went to see our neighbor, and so I think in 1996 is when we got our first dog sled, and then he raced the first year, and then my first race was Minden, Ontario in 1998. So, and it was really exciting. So, and there was Lucere there, and Doug McNeil, actually Don was there racing, and lots of good mushers, and you kind of get addicted to it. It's just like you fall in love with the sport, and then you're on your way, and you don't look back.
You don't look back, yeah. You mentioned something which is basically your background, your competitive background, that I would say that not a lot of people that I've known in the sled dog sport they have. Ron was an Olympic athlete, ski jumper actually, and you were a very competitive figure skater. Having this background, do you think that was what pushed you to be super competitive and try to achieve the best with the sled dog sport, just even from the beginning? Because I know you guys from oh gosh, from Wisconsin when we lived there. And even then, you were super competitive and you wanted to win. Is that the reason?
Yes, I think you kind of probably just nailed it to a T, yes, because when you like Ron had been competing since like he was traveling all of Europe since he was 13 years old, and he competed all the way up to 29. So I mean, competitiveness was in him, and then competitiveness from the figure skating was in it. So it was just another way to transfer our energy into something else. But when you brought the dogs in it, it was like, oh, there's so many elements. So it was kind of, exciting, and you had so much to learn, and lots of mentors help you through, like yourself and Lori and Kenny Chizik, Jan and Bob Kiesling, who introduced us to both Kenny, Lori, and yourself. So yeah, yes, you nailed it. Yeah.
Absolutely, I did. That was the good old days when we all used to go and train together and have training camps and all of that. And you have kids, of course. You have a family. Are the kids were the kids involved when they were younger, or it was mainly you and Ron being this the driving force of your kennel?
Yes, it was just mainly Ron and I. The kids they would come to a few races with us, and they did the kid and mutt. But it was just mainly ourselves. And then the kids, I have 4 kids, so my one daughter, she was drawn to horses, so we have barrel racing horses that we look after also. And then my other 3 kids did very competitive at the national level, speed skating. So you can see that the family follows on in our tradition of picking what they want to do and doing the sport. So
one of the reasons I wanted to chat with you is I know you and Ron for over 20 years, and from the day one, I met you guys, I could see this fire in the belly, the competitiveness, the fact of not wanting to play it half-ass, just going at it 100%, putting all the cards, the right cards in your hand to succeed and to win. And do you think putting so much pressure on yourself and your family, I guess overall, is because of the nature and the competitiveness athletically behind you, or is it something just because you like dogs and you like to have a fast dog team?
Oh, well, it's probably a combination of the both, because of the competitive nature, but also in order to do dog sledding, you really have to like to work with the dogs, and there's lots of it involves, of course, it's a lifestyle. Like you're going to be looking after the dogs day and night. Like in a sport, you can put your skis in the corner, but when you go into dog sledding, it's from morning to nighttime. It's a kind of a morning to nighttime sport because of the care of the dogs. But definitely the competitive nature, I would say, drives us to want to have, really good dogs, and the runners have to a good sled. And then, of course, Ron, because of his waxing background, spends hours waxing the bottom of the skis. But it's actually just, the training of the dogs is most important.
Like you said, being competitive is not just having the best equipment, it's having the best dog, best training, and best of everything to be able to be successful. And speaking of the best dog, I know that you've traveled many times around the world or around the States to get dogs or pups and importing new bloodlines and new energy to your team. Tell me about the last one you did.
Oh, okay. So I guess when you put it that way, there is a competitiveness to have, to be well prepared and have good dogs. So I did a trip to Narvik, Norway, and I visited Heg's kennel, Heg Ingebrigtsen's kennel, and I I did that twice actually, and I have 3 dogs from Hague. So that was quite an experience to head up into. I think she lives within just within the Arctic Circle. So, and meeting Hague and her husband, really nice people, and they let me stay in their trailer because she is a distance from the airport and stuff like that. So you have to go to Oslo, then to another airport, and then up to her house. So that was my trip.
And why did you?
Narvik, Norway.
It's a long ways. I know where it is.
It was a long ways.
Yeah, you need a private plane to get there.
Yeah, I love doing that. So.
Why did you? Let me ask you. Why did you do that? Actually.
Why did I do that?
Yeah. Why did you select? I know Ingebrigtsen's lines and dogs, and of course, and why did you decide to do that instead of just going to your neighbor and pick up a dog from your neighbor?
Well, I guess it would be our competitive nature. No, you're really. I guess I am competitive. I haven't been thinking of myself like that, but so it's our competitive nature. We really liked the drive because we were following her on with the internet, and she had she has a hound, so she has Alaskan in it, and Pointer in the background, and Royster in the background, but she had Alaskan Husky in it, and so we just contacted her because we had watched some of her races, and we liked the way her dogs run, so we contacted her and asked if she would sell a puppy to us, and she said no problem, but you have to go pick up the dogs when you buy them from Hague, because it's too hard to transport them back to Canada by themselves. So, yeah.
Pam, you and Ron came to Alaska for the World Championship. Tell me about your experience being part of this big competition after being part of the international scene in the figure skating that you've been in. How does it compare to that?
Well, I actually, I like it more. First of all, traveling up to Alaska in the truck with the dogs, and then coming to the mushing community we were in Fairbanks, and then where you can go train at the Elnack track. It was just a whole new professionalism that we hadn't seen before. So, of course, when you see that, you just want to get even better, and it's just a motivator for Ron and I. So, yeah.
We talked about your background, all of that. Tell us about your dogs now. What do you have right now in your yard? How many dogs? How many puppies? And what you have going behind their bloodlines?
Okay, well, we had to take a small break because we had the 4 kids and they were doing competitively. So around 2016, I had still dogs in my kennel, but they were much older. So in my kennel, I purchased some experienced leaders from experienced mushers. One, I purchased a leader from Mark Hardam, and then I purchased some leaders from Kenny and Lori, because I knew I would need leaders to train the young dogs that, for instance, the young dog that I bought from Hague. And then when I went back, the 2 more dogs. And then, of course, I was going to do a breeding to bring in the Hague dog that I had. And I also had in my kennel a Galgutton Miss Alaska from Elena Boyson line in my kennel. So I was going to breed Hagues to the Lena dog. So now I have 2 litters of those pups that I'm working with now. I sold some and kept some. So I guess they're called a hound, but in the background they have a bit of Greyster in them. 1/16.
So how many dogs do you have right now total in your yard?
I have 18 running dogs.
And what are the goals for the upcoming season that we have ahead of us after this kind of a lockdown season we have behind us?
Yeah, but we're actually kind of ready to go for this season because we had some. So we're going to train. We're going to compete in the 4-dog and 6-dog because that's all. Like our trails are behind our property, and that's what we feel we can train distance-wise properly. So I'm going to compete in the 4-dog and 6-dog, and then yes.
And what are the races we are targeting for next year, Pam?
I'm targeting for. I'm going to do a few races in Quebec. I'm targeting for. I like to do Laconia. I like to go to Michigan to race. So, and then I'm not sure how many races are going to be here in the province of Ontario. Normally we have 3, but I'm unsure if Bristol will go. And then sometimes when the small communities don't have a race, to get it back up going again takes a little bit of time. So that's our plan for now. And I would always like to go back to Alaska.
Sure.
But I really have to convince
Ron.
Ron.
For the trip. So you've been off the runners for a little bit, right? Would this be next season is going to be your first true racing season in how many years?
Well, I raced in 2008. Okay, now I'm getting a little bit 2018. That's kind of when we were just starting, and we hadn't had any puppies yet. I just had the leaders I had purchased. So basically, yes, I've been off the runners from 19 and 20 race-wise. So yes, so I'm looking forward to 21.
Yeah, I'm actually personally looking forward to see you back in the circuit. I think a lot of competitors in the 4-dog and 6-dog class, they better be careful because I know how competitive you and Ron you are. And if you're coming to town, you're coming to town loaded. So it'll be interesting to watch your team hitting those trails in Quebec or in the lower 48 or in Ontario. And go ahead.
There's a lot of, just coming back to the sport, there's so many good teams coming back, like in Quebec and in Michigan. So we'll have our work cut out for us.
Definitely. But it would be fun to see you guys back in the circuit. And you said potentially to Alaska. Any, you're talking about in the upcoming year or in a couple, 3 years, hopefully?
I'm thinking in... Ron doesn't know this. I'm hoping he might think about it with maybe 2 years, 2 to 3 years. I hope to come to Alaska.
That would be fantastic.
Just doesn't.
Well, when he listens to the interview, he will know.
Yes, he will know. It's a good way to tell him, actually.
Surprise. Exactly. Tell us about your training that you have planned ahead of you. Are you going to do any dry land, or are you going to just prepare the dog team mainly for the snow event?
No, I'm going to train for dry land. I'm actually going to do my first virtual race maybe next weekend, because that's all we can do here in Canada. But yes, I'll train for the dry land, and I'm hoping that the Bristol dry land will still go, but I don't know. That's really uncertain right now because he's selling the property. So, and I'll train for the snow.
And you mentioned the kids are growing and going to school and racing competitively. How did you? Was it difficult? You said you, and I know that, of course, that you stopped the competitive racing for a few years because of all the activities with the kids. Was it a difficult decision?
Oh, it was a hard decision, but then we said, okay, well, we've had lots of opportunity in our lives, so we have to give the same to the kids. So if they want to follow their passion, then we have to give the time. and Ron became quite involved in the speed skating. I was kind of just the driver to all the competitions, but of course, he's full competitive. Like, he always put his best forward foot whenever he does. So, it was a hard decision, but we felt that we needed to do that for our kids.
I'm making a whole circle on the conversation we were having and getting back on the Olympic Games. Being competitive Olympians, do you think our sled dog sport ever will become an official Olympic sport with all the intricacies of our sport?
Yeah, it would really be nice if it became an Olympic sport. That would be. It would be great, but there is a lot of intricacies, and I guess the biggest one would be like the dogs, like having the dogs doing the work, like the dog issue, I guess. But definitely, like, there would be the way the cross country skiing, like the courses are set up. It would be very possible to hold dog sledding as an Olympic sport.
Yeah, looking forward to that. I know that
it's whether it would be
it's possible or not. You're right. I know that in exhibition sport, we've been present several times during different Winter Olympic Games, but not an official sport yet. And it would be good to see our sport on a bigger platform.
So earlier, you learned about First Paw Coffee Company. Now I'm going to tell you about its Trailbreaker Blend. First Paw Coffee Company's Trailbreaker Blend is inspired by our love of the Northern Lights, frosty paws, and sled dog trails. How cool is that? The Trailbreaker Blend is a private label premium blend that was developed just for them. It's a medium dark roast from Central and South America, highlighting flavors of brown sugar, hazelnut, and plum. Be sure to go to ak.dog/free and enter to win a bunch of cool prizes. That's ak.dog/free.
Pam, I have just one question for you. It's the question we ask all of our guests before we close each episode, and that is, if somebody's just getting involved in the sport, whether they're doing sprint mushing or dryland or whichever discipline, they came to you for one piece of advice. What would you tell them?
Well, first of all, I tell them to, go to a couple of races, see what it's about. You don't exactly have to be do the racing part, but just see what dog sledding is about, because that's your only opportunity. And then perhaps you can find a mentor easily, because find a mentor, whether it's through social media, and take a visit, and then go slow and find the dogs that you want to work with, that you'll enjoy working with, because it's all about enjoying it. And then the biggest thing too, I think, is purchase an experienced dog from one of the bigger kennels, because that dog can teach you a lot of things too, train you to train your other dogs. So that's what I would do.
Good advice. Find a mentor and
offer.
Yep, great advice. Find a mentor and find a dog mentor so they can not only mentor you but all of the other dogs that they're working with. Great stuff for sure. KP, anything else for Pam before we go?
Pam, I really enjoyed chatting with you, and it was fun seeing all your progress getting back into the competitive sled dog racing. I've been following your progress and all your effort you are putting back together this dog team. Looking forward to have you and Ron in Alaska, and hopefully we can see you in our fast trails and see you on the podium again.
Well, thank you very much. And I must say, like, watching yourself race, watching you race this season, Kourosh, and then watching the stage race and all that just kind of gives you motivation to really want to get back into get back racing again. So, watching other people like yourself is a great motivator. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much for joining us, Pam. On behalf of our guest today and my co-host, this is Robert Forto for the Dog Driver Show. Be sure to check out all of our episodes over on dogworksradio.com and follow us on social media by searching Dogworks Radio. We will see you guys next time. Goodbye.
This episode of the podcast is sponsored by First Paw Coffee Company. Learn more at firstpaw.coffee.
Did you know that Alaska Dog Works trains service dogs for those in need throughout North America? Each and every service dog that is trained through the Lead Dog Service Dog Program and Michelle Forto and her team has an individual training plan. We train for autistic, mobility, psychiatric, and PTSD for our soldiers for service work. If you know of someone that may need a service dog, please take a moment and check out Alaska Dog Works on social media and at alaskadogworks.com. From First Paw Media, this is the Dog Driver Show. We hope you enjoyed this podcast, and we invite you to subscribe in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. You'll find a link on the episode notes. You can tap or swipe on the episode cover art, and you can see some offers from our sponsors. You can support our show by supporting them. If you like what you have heard, we would love it if you could give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe too. Your hosts are Robert Forto and Kourosh Partow. Our producer is Robert Forto and created for First Paw Media.